Well, there are thousands of different blood tests out there. So if everything's arranged in a regular blood test and truly okay, he'll be able to tell you that. However, there's thousands of different blood tests, and the one I recommend people begin with is that one. But he's taken a perfectly a healthy feeling male, 46-year-old male, looked at his blood work, and his blood work was atrocious, terrible, by doing these extensive blood work tests. So the key is, the reason why I tell people to start off with the basic blood test, and then you take it from there. And you go do all the blood tests, and so on.
Can people just stop, like somebody with junk food, can they just stop eating junk food and make the transition to a raw food diet, or is it more, or should they clean their body first?
Well, you asked me two questions. The question was exactly, can people just stop and start eating a healthy diet overnight, or should they do it a different way? So you asked me can and should. The answer can is yes, should, not necessarily. They can if they choose to. If you're the type of person that wants to do this overnight, you can do it, yes. But should you? There's no reason to do it unless you're very, very sick. You make the transition at a comfortable pace.
But what happened to the detox? You know, all the toxins are still in your body, and you just change your habits. It does not make you, healthy.
That is why do it at a comfortable pace. That's why. Yeah, once again, all health challenges, we discussed why they happen. We discussed what disease is, and the principles of what we discussed here tonight will help clear all those issues up. Now, if they've gotten their thyroid removed, or some of their organs will grow back, to my knowledge, thyroid is not one of them, then they have to address that situation at that point. But remember, health doesn't begin until we add to our diet. It's what we eliminate. Eliminate the things that are causing the problem, and the problem will begin to go away. There's no one answer to say, why does this person have cancer? Why does this person have stroke? Why does this person have overweight? It's because they're not following these simple instructions, and once they do, those things, if the body has the energy to do so, will clear itself up. You can do things to help in the process, like infrared saunas, herbal cleanses, massage therapy, essential oils. There's many natural methods to help speed up the process, but that's the cure, really. Yes?
A lot of organic vegetables are genetically modified, and we don't know what that's going to do anything.
The comment was a lot of organic vegetables are genetically modified. They're also hybridized. They're not ideal. Ideally is to grow your own and get good seeds and know what you're growing.
Okay.
Yes.
The second thing is, this sauerkraut that they have is supposed to be equivalent to yogurt.
Yes. Sauerkraut, the raw sauerkraut, if it's made right, it's fermented correctly, it has probiotics, and is very healthy for the body.
Oh.
And what's the third one?
What about people who are allergic to nuts and seeds? There are people allergic to nuts and seeds.
A lot of people are told they're allergic to nuts and seeds, and not as many are as they think they are. One of the things is people are allergic to rancid nuts and seeds, which a lot of people use to test it out. But the bigger thing is, nuts and seeds should be sprouted before we eat them. And if they're sprouted, somebody who's allergic to nuts and seeds, in a sprouted form, they're usually not. Yes?
Paul, if this diet of sprouts and greens is so pure and right, what about B12? Why don't we get enough B12 from this?
Well, the question about B12 has nothing to do with vegetarianism or non-vegetarianism. If it did, we wouldn't have just as many people that eat meat with B12 deficiency as vegetarians with B12 deficiency. The whole issue of B12 comes down to an issue of toxicity and cleansedness. The cleaner we are, all food we eat is going to have some B12 to a certain degree in our diets, no matter what diet we eat, be it from meat or the bacteria that's on the fruits and vegetables we're eating. We're all getting B12 in our body, but when our body isn't clean, we're not able to absorb the B12 and utilize it. When our body is clean, we are able to absorb it and utilize it. The people that have B12 deficiencies are not necessarily vegans or cooked eaters or meat eaters, but people that are toxic and not able to utilize the bacteria. Once we get clean, we can utilize the bacteria more excessively, and then we won't have that issue. However, I do recommend everyone, whether you eat meat or not, take a B12 supplement until you can get to that point.
How is our body able to absorb the B12 supplement if we can't absorb it from our food?
The supplements are formatted, made specifically where through a sublingual, we can get it in through certain parts of our body, which ways we wouldn't be able to get the food. That's what they are. They're not ideal. Getting it from the food is ideal if we can, but we can't. So a supplement will definitely help. Yes?
Blood type diet, how do you feel about that?
Garbage. The blood type diet, that's like me having a diet saying the eye type diet. Everyone with blue eyes needs meat and everyone with brown eyes don't. The science behind it is very flawed. I know people on type O that are thriving on a vegetarian diet, which that says opposite in that book, and so on. It's a very flawed diet. Next question. Yes?
How can you tell the difference when you're not feeling well between something that's cleansing or poisoning your body?
Good question. The question was, how can you tell the difference when you're not feeling well, if it's cleansing or if it's actually something wrong? Somebody very wise once said, a disease is either a detoxification or a deficiency. And the key is they give the same symptoms of both, so how do you know which one it truly is? Well, that's an excellent question, and until you figure out what it truly is, it's the only way you can figure out how to deal with it. If it's a deficiency, you need to get something, you're not getting enough. If it's a cleanse, you're getting too much of something and you have to rest. How can you tell? Usually by your lifestyle and what you do, and will reveal what it is. If you're eating healthy, living healthy, and you're not feeling well, chances are it's a detox. If you're living a toxic life and you're not feeling well, chances are it's still somewhat of a detox, but more from a negative standpoint than a positive standpoint. Next question. This guy's going to read the whole book. I'm going to say, you want to buy this? I read it all. That's all right. Okay.
I have a short question. First, is urine good for you? You're drinking your urine. Is it good for you? And the second one, which is the best fruit that you can eat that's the pickup that's already ripe?
The second question was, what's the best food that you can? What's the best fruit that you can eat? What's the best fruit you can eat?
That's already ripe when they pick it up.
Well, a variety of food is important. Variety is key. So I would say the non-sweet fruits are the most ideal for the human body. So things like the cucumber and the red peppers would be more ideal because they don't have the hybridized sugar and it's not too high in sugar.
What do you mean, red pepper is a fruit?
Right?
What, red pepper is fruit?
Yes, anything with a seed is a fruit.
Oh, cucumber is a fruit?
Yes, it's a melon. No.
But the pepper is a nightshade.
Yeah, but if it's raw, it doesn't make a difference with all of that. Yeah, so there's not one perfect fruit. You need a good variety. But the non-sweet are definitely not as harmful or much better off. Now, as for your other question, the question was about urine therapy. There are a lot of people that have done studies on it that have nothing but good things to say about it. I met a lot of people, wise people that do it, and they seem like they're in very good health because of it. I don't know what else they do. But there's scientifically, there's a lot of evidence to back it up that it's okay and it's good. Now, the question I have is it necessary? And I believe if it's used medicinally, it would be necessary and beneficial. If it's used as maintenance, it can be beneficial, but it's not necessarily necessary. I haven't found it in the scripture.
But it's a waste that the body uses that process to get waste out of your body. Why should you take that waste and put it back?
There's a lot of nutrients and a lot of other things the body can use medicinally that will help the body in many different ways. A lot of people have done studies on this. Is it necessary? I don't believe it's necessary for everyone to do it, especially on a regular basis, but I know people that do it and thrive. Now, a toxic person, if they did urine therapy, they'd be taking poison out of their body and putting it back in, and it's going to create a problem. A healthy person doing urine therapy is just taking that excess health or the excess vitamins that's coming out in the urine and reintroducing it back to the body. From my experience, most people that are toxic, the last thing on their mind is urine therapy.